Peace be with you. Welcome. Greetings of peace to everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Submission to God. Last time I made a video. We were actually looking at verses 1 to 10 from the second chapter of the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter the cow. So today, I thought it would be, in order to continue, I would like to go through from verse 11 to 20, if time allows. And yes, I think that would be a good way to basically pick up where we left off the last time with the first 10 verses. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. And when it is said to them, do not cause corruption on the earth, they say, we are but reformers. So, as we saw last time, verse 8 to 10 was basically about the hypocrites, right? The munafiq, the hypocrites. And basically, God tells us that they claim they have faith, but they don't have faith. And that they're trying to deceive God and the faithful, the believers, but they're only fooling themselves, and they don't even know it. And that they have a disease in their hearts, and God has made this disease even greater in them, and that they're about to get a very painful punishment in the hell, in the hellfire, because of all the lies they used to say, right? They used to utter. So now God is telling us about he's going to tell us more about these people. So basically, when it said to them, don't cause corruption on the earth, they say, we're just reformers. But what does it truly mean? So I don't really agree with this translation. In other translations, I believe it's a little better. It says, when it says to them, don't cause corruption on the earth, don't make mischief, they say, we are just peacemakers, right? So it's basically what they do. Now these people, they're claiming to be faithful, they're claiming to be believers. They're not believers, but they're claiming this. So these people are the ones who call themselves Muslims, not the other people, because these people are basically claiming that they believe, claiming that they have faith, but they don't. And they're basically saying that all they do is for the greater good, right? For example, ISIS, these horrible people, these criminals, these terrorists, right? They say, if you're to tell them, why are you doing this? They say, we want Sharia law for the world. We want the divine law to prevail. Now, that's their version of it, of course. God's law is perfect, but it has nothing to do with what they're coming up with. So they're claiming that they're doing something good for the greater good, for people's benefit. But they're actually the ones who are basically causing mischief. They're the ones who are causing, spreading blood, shedding blood and killing people and doing all these abominations. These abominations are basically they're claiming that they're on a higher moral, righteous path, but they're not. They're the infidels. They're the dangerous people, and God is going to explain further along. He's going to explain to us why they're dangerous, why they're evil. But they're claiming that they're good people, they're the good ones, they just want to make peace. But no, they're basically wolves in sheep's clothing. Wolves. They're a bunch of ravenous wolves. All right, let's go to the next verse. Allah innahum humun mufsidun walakin la yashurun. Unquestionably, it is they who are the corruptors, but they perceive it not. So as I said, they're basically the ones who are spreading mischief, but they don't even know it, because I believe that they genuinely think that they're doing the right thing, but they just aren't. They're just They're evil people, but they don't know it themselves, right? If you were to tell them, don't do this, they tell you, why not? This is good, right? You know, for example, they say we want to protect women's modesty. We want society to be cleansed, right? We want women to wear burqas so they don't get, you know, what's the term? So they don't get harassed. And so they come up with all these different answers to do what they're doing, right? They say all kinds of, things that if somebody is not careful can, fall in their trap, right? But because they don't even know it. So next verse. All right. وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا كما آمن الناس قالوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء ألا إنهم هم السفهاء ولكن لا يعلمون. And when it is said to them, believe as the people have believed, they say, should we believe as the foolish have believed? Unquestionably, it is they who are the foolish, but they know it not. So when you tell them, what you're doing is wrong, you should believe like these people, you should have, not really believe, I mean, you could say believe, but have faith, right? Do righteous works like these people, don't be oppressive, be a good human being, help the needy, don't speak ill like this. Don't talk loud, because the Quran tells us to, when we speak, to speak, to speak in a good way without, raising our voices, right? Because it's like the braying of donkeys, right? So you tell them, yeah, don't speak too loud. When you walk, don't walk in such an arrogant way. Be humble, right? Have humility. They tell you, are you kidding me? You want us to believe like the fools believe? So they consider the faithful people as fools, right? They say, these people are stupid, man. These people don't know anything, right? You want me to be foolish like them? You want me to be, I mean, I'm not going to do it, right? I'm not going to follow these idiots. So they actually believe that these people are the idiots, the rightful, the real believers, the real faithful. They call them idiots, but they're the ones who are the idiots. They're the ones who are the foolish. They're the ones who are the fools. They're the ones who are not the believers, not the faithful. So they think that they're on that higher path, right? And they look down on others, right? For example, they were to tell, all these, a lot of those extremists, they have big beards, and, when they talk about others, about unbelievers, they always use these such derogatory terms, right? Like they belittle them. They say these people are bad. These people are corrupt. Calling them infidels, calling them kuffar, calling them disbelievers. All these like claiming all those mean terms, claiming that they're the best, and that they're the ones who are going to heaven, and that these other people, they're below them, right? So that's what transpires from this verse, I believe. So now let's move on to the next verse, God willing, verse 14. وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إن معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. But when they are alone with their evil ones, they say, indeed, we are with you. We were only mockers. So that's something that is true too, right? When they meet the righteous people, the followers, the faithful people, right? The ones who are basically the real believers, the real faithful people. And I can make a video explaining on who is the faithful more in detail, God willing, but they basically tell them that they're claiming that they're with them, right? Like they're their friends, they're allies. They say, yeah, we believe like you. We're good people. We want to have we have your backs, right? Brother, your brother, your sister, you're this, you're that, you're a friend. We love you, we love you. But then when they retreat, probably, late at night in the dark, when they go to their devils, right? The term is shaitan. So the term is Satan. The term is Satan, the devil. When they go to their devils, right? They tell them, Yeah, we are with you, but we're just making fun of these people, right? We're just making fun of these fools. We're just playing around. We're just mocking them. We're just mocking them. So basically, what happens is that when they go to their devils, that's a very interesting term because it says devil in the Arabic language, but it can be, in my opinion, it can be understood in two ways. You have the literal way that is a devil, such as a devil jinn, right? Like Satan, like Lucifer, Iblis. And so they're basically talking to them. Maybe they're not actually talking to them because they cannot see them, but they're subconsciously they're happy with them, right? They're serving devils. That's what I wouldn't understand it as. They're serving their fellow devils. So basically, they're doing everything that is forbidden that God has made forbidden, and they're laughing, right? So subconsciously, they're serving devils. And there's another understanding that I get is that they go to their evil friends, right? The devil human people, the devil human beings. And they go to their devils and they tell them we are with you. For instance, like let me give you an example. They would pray, like believers pray, but then in the middle of the night they would take off. For instance, they would go God knows where. They they make noise, right? They're disturbing the peace. For example, they having their children running around, in the dead of the night while people are trying to sleep. They're blasting up their music when you're trying to go to bed. And they're just came back from the mosque, right? So it doesn't even make sense. I mean, you guys were just praying. Now you're blasting off your satanic music because the music that they're listening to also is evil. It's not the good music that people would listen to. It's satanic music that speaks about all kinds of sins, filthy things to do. So and they're doing that on purpose, right? Because they're really with their devils. Their devils are their allies, and they're claiming that no, they're just good people. They're believers, but God says no, they're not. So now.
We are with you.
So maybe we'll look at another few verses. I don't know. الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون. But Allah mocks them and prolongs them in their transgression while they wander blindly. So they're the ones who are basically getting fooled because God is basically mocking them and basically prolonging them in their transgression. So basically they're still alive so they can do more and more sins. So they're stupid, right? They keep going as if God doesn't really care. They keep on sinning instead of repenting and mending their ways and asking themselves why it is that they're doing the things that they're doing. Why can't they come back to the light, come back to God? So basically, they think that it's a game to these people. So they keep on sinning more and more. But God is the one who's mocking them. Remember, they're trying to mock God, but God mocks them back in return. He throws it back in their faces, right? And he basically make them go further in their transgression. He prolongs them in this wicked, evil, crooked path, right? So, and they're blind. They're just going blindly as if, it's fine. It's as if, God has given us the ability to go on. So let's go on and commit more sins. So they're really deluded. Next verse. أولئك الذين اشتروا ودلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين. Those are the ones who have purchased error in exchange for guidance, so their transaction has brought no profit, no way they guided. So this is another very interesting verse, and there's a picture that, pops up in my head when I read this verse. So basically, they're the ones who have purchased, who have bought, right? Error is instead of guidance. So you could even picture that as in a pawn shop, right? So basically, people go to pawn shops to pawn off, to sell items of value, right? For example, an old clock, a valuable watch. But basically, they get scammed because they get something that is lesser than what they wanted to sell in the first place. So basically, they want to sell something that is valuable and they bought something that is bad, right? So it's basically a scam. For example, somebody has a nice you know, nice car, for instance, and he basically exchanged it for an old beat up, ugly looking car. So basically, they got scammed. They bought error instead of guidance, right? So their transaction has brought no profit. So nothing good came out of it because, the whole thing was a scam, a sham. So they couldn't have benefited from it. They couldn't have benefited from it. They were just, croaked. They were conned, in other words. And they were certainly not guided because you cannot be guided if you buy something, if you do all these things. God says you cannot be guided, obviously. So yes, they got scammed. Then the next verse, مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب له بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون. Their example is that of one who kindled a fire, but when it illuminated what was around him, Allah took away their light and left them in darkness so they could not see. So basically, you can picture it in the following way. At least this is the way I see it. So basically, it's a dark place. It's dark at night, maybe in the woods. And basically somebody, kindled a fire, lit up a fire, with a torch, with a match and obviously a torch. And basically, now he sees everything that's around him, right? But then Allah took away their light. Very interesting. As Brother Rashid was saying, Allah says he took away their light. He knows the Arabic language, so I will be, quoting him sometimes and using what he said in previous videos, since he knows Arabic and so on, and he's a really great brother. Please support him and look at his work. It's amazing. So basically, God took away their light. So basically, you can picture it as the following. So there's somebody who lit up a fire, and there were people around him. But God did what? He took away their light and left them in darkness so they could not see. So he didn't extinguish the fire. He didn't take away the fire. He took away the light. So what does it mean to take away their light? To me, it might seem that he took away their ability to see. He took away their ability to see, as it says, and left them in darkness so they could not see. So the fire is still there. The light is still there, but they cannot see it. He took away their light. He took away their ability to see, their ability to look, right? And it's going to be further expanded on the next chapter, on the next verse, verse 18. Summun bukmun humyun fahum la yarjihun. Deaf, dumb, and blind, so they will not return to the right path. So, as God says, since he took away their light, they cannot see anything. So they're deaf, meaning they cannot hear. They're dumb, or mute, meaning they cannot speak. And they're blind, they cannot see. So basically, all their abilities to experience things are gone. All the faculties they used to have once, they're gone. They're deaf, they're dumb, and they're blind. And what does it mean? It means that they're spiritually deaf, spiritually dumb, spiritually blind. It's not literal. They're not physically blind, because if you're physically blind, it's not your fault, right? But if you're spiritually blind, it's you chose that, right? Because God gave you the light, but you decided not to see it, so you're blind. You have blinded yourself because of your sins and your transgressions. God took away your light. God took away their light because of all the sins they used to do. For instance, they used to be, some people are very funny. They read the Quran once, and now all of a sudden they know everything. They claim that they know everything about it, even though they don't even speak, properly. But they think they can understand this book, even though they don't even read. And then they say, yes, we know everything. This is how God wants us to be like. And they're evil. It's not like, that they're following it wrong. It's they don't want to follow it right. As if it's, as God says, they will not return to the right path. They think that they know, but they were evil. They used to do all kinds of things. But then all of a sudden, they came back to the religion and they're good. but look at them. I mean, their actions, they're sinning, they're oppressive, they go around, they steal, they cheat people in business, they go around committing one sin after another behind closed doors. Of course, they're up to all kinds of other things, They they speak to women in such an abusive way. They say, look at these women, they're not even covering their evil, this whole holier than thou way. And they belittle everyone that comes across them. They say he's infidel. They say he's evil. He's misguided. So they have that attitude about themselves that they value themselves so much. They're full of arrogance, and they read the Quran once, and now all of a sudden they can pass judgment on everyone. They think that they're really smart, but they're really stupid, right? They're dumb, as if they're stupid. I mean, it means mute here, but it also that way, that meaning transpires from it in a way that they're just silly, as God says in the previous verses. So let's move along. أو كسيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين. Or it is like a rainstorm from the sky within which is darkness, thunder, and lightning. They put their fingers in their ears against the thunderclaps in dread of death. But Allah is encompassing of the disbelievers. So this is a really, really scary scene, and it scares me, yet it fascinates me at the same time. So this is a stuff of nightmare, right? Everything is going downhill, you could say. Basically, there's a big thunderstorm, you have big, dark clouds gathering up in the sky, you have thunder, you have lightning, you have darknesses, and basically they're so afraid that they put their fingers in their ears so they don't hear the thunderclaps because they're afraid of death, right? It's like they think that they can escape death in a way. They think, hey, you know what? If I don't do that or this, I'm not gonna die. I shouldn't, cross that street. I should be careful. Of course, one should be careful, but they take it too far. They think that they can basically escape death by not talking about it. If you remind them about death, about Judgment Day, about accounting, about the fact that they will be judged for everything, for every bad deed they do, they shut you down. They say, get out of here. Leave me alone. I don't want to think about it. I'll die one day, but, not right now. But God says here that he's all-encompassing of the infidels, of the disbelievers, not about believers. It's not about believers. It's about the infidels, the evil people. As you see right here, these people, they claimed all along to be the faithful, but God says here they're infidels, right? So God is encompassing them. He's all around them. He surrounds them on all sides. It's what that means, what that verse means. Next verse, and then we'll call it a day, God willing. يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير. So God says here that I'm going to be reading the English translation. The lightning almost snatches away their sight. Every time it lights the way for them, they walk therein. But when darkness comes over them, they stand still. And if Allah had willed, he could have taken away their hearing and their sight. Indeed, Allah is over all things competent. So here it says that the lightning, it almost snatches away their sight. It almost takes away from them the ability to see. The lightning in the sky. It's so bright. It's as if it's going to take away their ability to see. And every time it lights the way for them, for example, every time it lights a path, they walk upon that path, right? So they're walking upon this path that they can see. But when darkness comes over them, so when they cannot see anymore, they stop walking. They stand still. So basically, they only walk upon that path when they can see, right? What they only do the things that they feel safe about. But if they don't know about something, they don't do anything, right? They are just they're uncertain, right? They indecisive, you could say. And if God had willed, if God wanted, he could take away their ability to hear and their ability to see, because God has power over all things, is over all things competent. So if he wanted, he could have taken away from them all these abilities just like that, right? Because God can do so if he wants to. So yes, so I believe this is that I'm gonna call it a day. I think we saw these verses, very interesting. So yes, as this verse, it's talking about, the way I interpret it is, they they don't really want to follow the right path. They just do it sometimes when they can see what's ahead of them. They would do something. They would do things. But if they don't know about something, they wouldn't do it. For instance, they wouldn't always give to the poor. They would just sometimes, because they get some benefit in this life, people would look up to them, so they give money, right, for to the poor. But if nothing comes out of it, they don't want to do it, and they don't really think about death. They think death is something that might happen. They think that, I mean, death will happen, but they believe that judgment day, hell and heaven are not really certain, that it might not happen. That's the way I understand it, at least. So, all right. So we saw these verses. Very interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. And what do we have to take out of this? So these few verses that we studied are very interesting, because they're exposing the people who claim to believe, the people who claim to be faithful. God calls them unfaithful. God calls them infidels, right? Because, yes, God calls them kuffar. God calls them infidels because they claim that they know. They claim that they have all the answers. They claim that their path is the right one, is the right path. They think that they have all the answers, but they clearly don't. And God is exposing them right, left, and center, and explaining why, why all that they're claiming is fallacious, that there's a fallacy in everything they say, and that they're wrong, and that, it's faulty. Their whole ways are faulty, and that that they're blind, deaf, and dumb, and so on and so forth. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope so. I certainly did. Thank you for watching. And let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about these verses, how you understand them. And again, we're all friends here. And if you have a different interpretation, let me know. Let us know, and let's talk about it in a nice way. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. Peace be with you, and I'll see you very soon, God willing, for another analysis on the verses. Goodbye, and peace be with you.